Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I want to focus this video on the topic that is really the cause of a lot of fear out there. And that is, are you a dinosaur in today's market? Are you falling behind? Are you coming across as hopelessly dated? And the interesting thing is, what identifies you as having lost a step or 10 steps is oftentimes very different than what people focus on. Let's be clear. You spending many years rising up at one company does not make you a dinosaur. You working in a field that is not at the cutting edge, as it were, or, you know, shock and awe, not related to the tech industry, that doesn't make you a dinosaur. What I would say makes you a dinosaur in today's market has more to do with your priorities and your values as opposed to anything in your work history or how you're coming across. And let me go through three of the biggest ones that I see, the three biggest culprits that I see. The first is your approach to networking. The paradigm has shifted, people, all right? The days of, you holding tight to a little Rolodex of contacts and thinking that that is where the value lies are over. And if you are still someone who takes pride in the fact that, hey, I'm unreachable via LinkedIn, I don't even have a profile there or a presence there, or the only way to get me is through somehow magically finding my email address in the ether, or knowing my personal number, you're a dinosaur and you're making yourself a dinosaur. LinkedIn is not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media networks. Consider it an unpaid 24/7, 365 days a year emissary who works on your behalf to make those crucial first impressions, to warm people up, to get them interested, so that when you do jump on the phone with them, you're actually having more valuable conversations and you're actually moving things forward. That's what LinkedIn is. It is a vehicle. All right. It is a free vehicle that you can use to get further in your career way faster than that little network of yours of Rolodex contacts are going to take you. Most people tend to drastically overestimate the value of their immediate network and drastically underestimate the value of the people who are 1 or 2 steps away from that. That's what LinkedIn does. It can bridge that gap, but you've got to be on there and you've got to see it for what it is. If you're not doing that, you are really identifying yourself as being one of these dinosaurs. The other thing is, again, don't try to apply the old rules to the new one. It's great if you have a network on LinkedIn. It's great that you have a lot of first-degree connections, but they're not yours. You don't own them. You have no value to them aside from how it exists in this larger universe. Everyone is sharing with everybody else, right? So my advice to you, don't be stingy when people ask you for introductions. Don't be rude or be offended if someone that you don't know that well even necessarily asks you for help or for an introduction. Be generous. Be generous. Okay? These are the new rules of the game here. And you're going to see by going in that direction a lot more results than staying off in your bubble and taking weird pride in that, The other one that I see, mostly for executives, I will say, cynicism masquerading as wisdom. I can't tell you how many execs I've had the pleasure of speaking with and getting to know who, when they describe their work history and by extension their future, everything is filtered through this weird cynicism, Like, I've seen everything, there's nothing new under the sun. And then even when they're looking at their own life, that cynicism moves forward. Like, yeah, I could work with this person, but most of them are frauds, and I can work with this. It's like, what kind of a way is that to live, Maybe you were able to turn the trick earlier in your career in that way, because people who don't know any better can sometimes be taken in by that. Like, oh, the cynical person actually knows stuff. But it's actually a dead paradigm, Like, no one is really looking for executives or leaders who are like that. No one wants another type A blowhard. Like, no one cares. And because we've seen the faults and flaws of that. So it's time for you to get really honest about whether you're still stuck in this He-Man Masters of the Universe type mentality and just kill it. Okay? Because no one wants it. And when you come in like that, you're just dispelling people over and over again. Cynicism is not wisdom. Humility tends to be wisdom. Always being a student tends to be an indicator of wisdom. And looking at things from a point of genuine earned optimism is also wisdom. If you find yourself going in another direction, please stop taking pride in that and start crushing it, because it's hurting you. The last sort of point here: status over value. The days of okay, let me frame it this way. Okay. First of all, the days of you getting an ego and identity boost from your job title is eroding. You know, we're seeing the meaninglessness increasingly of job titles out there, and you know, things are moving more towards a value-driven, you know, economy and direction. That's why LinkedIn works so well, is that we're realizing that we're actually in a world where value wins out, you know, and it doesn't matter if you're ahead of a company or just rising up. If there is value here, if one party is experiencing pain and the other party can solve that pain, hierarchies don't matter, because in this world, the faster you can solve that pain, the faster you can apply your talents, the better. That's what it's all about. And so LinkedIn is very important there. So if you are someone who is still getting hung up on this status, like how dare someone who is not at my level presume to get to know me or connect with me and talk with me, just stop, all right? Focus in terms of value. And if you're hung up on that, take a good hard look at who you are and ask yourself, how much value am I really contributing, or am I largely spinning my wheels? Getting hung up on job titles, the old indicators of success and status, you know, is usually a sign of mental laziness and relying on old victories. And more than anything else, that's what's going to identify you as a dinosaur. When you look at your career, are you always looking behind? What have you done for me lately? You know, what have you accomplished lately? How much value are you putting out there? And how much are you boldly walking into the headwinds? The person who does that will never be considered a dinosaur. It has nothing to do with your age, your talent, your skills, your job title. Do you have the courage and the vision to walk into the headwinds as they are now? Or do you retreat and consider that a virtue? If you are in the latter, you are a dinosaur. Thanks, guys.